the next part of class, we're going to work with a wall, and we're going to look at the shoulder rotation of coming into wheel. So standing facing the wall, take your right hand against the wall and point the fingertips down. You want the hand to be at the same height as your shoulder, and then from this position, step backwards with your left foot. So your feet are about hip distance apart. From here, take your left hand onto your lower back. See if you can get the fingers to point up, and then you'd be trying to rotate your chest open. And at the same time, I'm using my left hand to push my hips away from me. I'd then be rotating myself back up. So I'm then going to do this on the left hand. So my left hand is flexed, my palm's pushing against the wall. And again, my left hand's the same line as my left shoulder. Then from this position, I'm going to take one step backwards with my right foot. Again, my right hand comes onto my lower back and I'm rotating my chest open towards the sky. I don't want my left elbow to be bent, so I'm trying to press my left hand away from me. And then I'm bringing myself back up. So let's just do this one more time on each side like this first. So again, my right hand's pointing down. I want my feet to be roughly stacked underneath my hips. I'm then taking one step backwards with my left foot. My left hand's coming onto my lower back. I'm rotating my chest open and I'm pushing my right hand into the wall. I'm pressing my hips away from me. Rotating back, let's do the other side. So left hand, same line of energy as the shoulder. Then from here, big step back with the right foot, and I'm pushing my hips open, leaning backwards and lifting my heart up towards the sky. And then I'm bringing it all of the way back. So let's look at how we can then turn this into kind of a wheel pose against the wall. So my right hand's pointing in towards the wall, same height as my shoulder. This time when I step backwards, I'm going to take my left hand and bring it towards the wall. If this feels okay, I'm dropping my head back and I'm pressing my hips away from me. Then bringing myself back up. We'll then do the other side. So left fingertips facing down, same height as the shoulder. Try not to step too far away. So you want the feet roughly underneath your hips. From here, right foot steps back, right hand follows. Press yourself away from the wall. Lift your chest up and bring yourself then back into the center. When you're doing this, you want to make sure you're not feeling too much crunching in your lower back. So try not to have your feet out too wide. And rather than just pressing your hand into the wall, think you're lifting up and over to go backwards. So you want to go up to go down and forwards to go backwards. So these movements are always balanced. So we'll just try that again. Right hand turns down, step backwards with your left leg, left hand reaches the wall, and then I'm going up, 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 up to go over and leaning backwards, squeezing the thighs together, making sure you're using your feet, and then I'm bringing myself all the way back. So we can then do the other side one more time. Left hand points down. From this position, right foot steps back, right hand taps the wall. Press yourself away from the wall, lift your chest up and lean it backwards. And then bring it back. Awesome. And if you had a longer wall than me, I'm now going to totally mess up the windows. You could even turn this into walks along the wall. So I'd turn my right hand around, step backwards, left hand follows. I'd then turn back around, right hand comes down, left arm comes up and follows. So I'm walking my way across the room as I'm doing this. I can then reverse this. This is what I always do in workshops when we have a lot of space and we're not putting our hands on windows. So again, left hand comes down, stepping back, tap the wall, and I'm working my way all the way from one side of the room to the other side. And you can kind of have a lot of fun with this move. I really like it. So we're now going to do the same move, but on the floor. So bring yourself back to your mat. So we're now going to approach the same kind of movement, but we're going to do it on the floor. We'll start with an easier variation, and then I'll make it a little bit more challenging. And I want you just for a moment to forget about your mat. So often I feel like mats in yoga can become restrictions because we're confined in a very small area. Sometimes I wonder if studios just made mats to make money by getting more people in. But I think there's a huge amount of freedom to be said in coming off of your mat. So we're going to play with that concept now. So we're going to start off in a tabletop pose, and you want to take yourself to one side of the room to do this. From this position, I'm just going to lift my hips up and then lower my hips down. So that part's not so bad, right? Okay, so now what I want to do is quarter turn my left wrist out to the side. I'm lifting myself up into a tabletop, and then I'm bringing my right hand down, bringing my right leg down and coming into a down dog. Then from this position, I'm going to step my left foot behind me and come to lower down. So again, same thing, quarter turn the left hand to the side, lift yourself up, step over into a downward facing dog. The left foot steps over and then you bring yourself down. We'll then take it back in the opposite direction. So I'm going to quarter turn my right wrist to the front of the room, lift my left arm up, step my left leg over, bring it into a downward facing dog. My right foot then comes over and I come into a seated position. Again, right hand quarter turns to the right, lift yourself up, step yourself up and over, and you back into your downward facing dog shape. So you can either keep it like this or you can turn this into a wheel. To do this, I would start off in a downward facing dog. And I'd kind of come into it through a wild thing. So I step my feet together, big toes touch, sweep my left leg up towards the sky, and then drop my left foot behind me. From here, the same rotation I did on the wall, I'm rotating my chest open and imagining that I'm hitting a wall behind me. From this position, you'd then take your left hand down and quarter turn your right wrist into a wheel. To come out of this back into a down dog, I'd want to quarter turn my left wrist to the left, sweep my right arm up and over, and I'd bring it into a downward facing dog. So again, just one more time like this. Feet come together, left leg lifts up, I bend the left knee, take the left foot behind me. I'm then rotating my chest open. Again, imagine you're trying to tap the wall behind you. Left hand comes down, right hand quarter turns, left hand quarter turns, and I spin it back into a downward facing dog. Let's do the other direction. So again, feet together, right leg lifts up, bend the right knee, right foot steps behind you, rotate the chest open, right hand down, left wrist quarter turns, right wrist quarter turns, and step back into a downward facing dog. One more time. So again, from here, feet together, right leg lifts up, right leg bends, right foot comes behind you, spin open. Imagine you're trying to high five the wall, right wrist down, left wrist down, back into your wheel, right hand quarter turns, left hand comes back, and then we're bringing it into that downward facing dog shape.